Hello there. This video is about the power and grace of ability. Very fundamental to start interpreting your life and practicing to change it, to create those new healthy habits that turn into abilities that are increasing to improve the quality of your life. So here we're just starting at the 7 elements, and power and grace of ability is once again part of knowledge. These 7 videos that are coming up, actually 5 of the 7 are all about knowledge, okay? And also they cross over into awareness. Okay, so let's go to the next macro view. I just want you to, again, remember that all of life fits into these 3 categories. And when you look at it with this, with the little cause and effect rings, it reminds you that all of your life is connected, cause and effect. And it all starts with your thoughts, interpreting life throughout your life. And whatever experiences you've had have caused you to believe about who you are, what your body looks like, and how you take care of it, and what your thought abilities are, and how you interact with people, and how you interact with the economy. And it's all happening in these places that you can take care of and make it orderly and beautiful, or you won't. And so this perspective, as we move forward and think about everything we're going to think about, remember, it all fits into this big picture of your life and my life. There's always 3 areas and 3 places it can happen, okay? Now, this little wheel, I made it up. I like it. I don't know if I'll change how I teach it in the future, but it's very functional. The power and grace of ability, when you apply this to your daily life, it shows you how your ability works. It's very important because each thing you do effectively, well, you hope it has wisdom, but it's going to involve at least 5 of the 6, sometimes just 3 of the 6. Maybe it's early in the day and you don't need any endurance, all right? But let's look at the 3. So your ability to just move doesn't mean you can move effectively like a rock rolling down the hill, right? You can move and you're going to hit anything that comes in your way, right? But to move, you have to have the strength to move. You have to have the speed to move faster if you need to, sometimes slower. That requires skill, right? And then you have the endurance to keep moving when you need to. All 3, relative to your ability to adapt to life, those 3 are always going to be coming into play in your life. And you need all 3 of them to live a good quality life. That's a good life relative to what's possible for you. Okay. So now you have the ability to move. Well, now you want to move effectively. You have to have knowledge of the time and space of yourself interacting with everybody and the economy and how it all fits together, right? And then based upon that knowledge, you have to move around with skill, to move around within that time and space inside your body. Your thoughts are inside there and you're moving around, interacting with everybody. You have to have skill to move around gracefully, right? And then last, hopefully you're blessed with some wisdom to choose well. You know, maybe you have amazing skill and knowledge, but you choose poorly. You go out and you beat up on people, right? That'll lead to less happiness, right? So these 6 elements, 2 halves, are very, very effective for you to start interpreting wherever there's pain. You ask yourself, well, am I strong with my focus? Do I have knowledge of what's there? Do I have skill to move through it? Am I choosing well? Do I have endurance to keep going? Parents need to have endurance at the end of a hard workday to stay strong and kind. Don't express your frustration to children. Very, very important for all the parents, right? For the adult parents like myself, with your kids growing up, you go, yep, I can remember that, right? Maybe you're a parent right now and you've been parenting for a few years and you're going, yep, I can see that, right? So very important. Parenting is the most important job on planet Earth, hands down, not even close. When we have a bunch of great parents inside of every single home on planet Earth, the human race is going to be really amazing. We're going to be a bunch of genius, smart, talented, beautiful, incredible people, more than there are today. All right. So this is relevant to hear this, and it kind of helps in applying it to your life when you read these bottom phrases here. From birth, your ability develops over time as you move around, exploring the space of your life, you know, your living room floor, your kitchen floor, right? Wherever you play, right? Then moving around creates strength to move and the knowledge of where you've been. Simple, right? They come together, right? Those 2. Moving more time, exploring and playing. When we're kids, we play more. Wouldn't it nice to be play more when you're old like me, huh? That'd be fun. Well, when you keep moving, it increases your speed and your skill. So you can move fast, you can crawl faster, walk faster, you can run eventually, right? More effectively, right? And then hopefully you're blessed with this. The grace of enough moving creates endurance. And then with enough paying attention to your habits of ability, with the information, humbly I say, that you've been blessed with in these videos that you're watching, creates wisdom. Choose well. If you choose well, you're going to live well. Okay. So this is how it works. And wisdom logically chooses to endure the rigors, the pain, the discomfort of moving beyond the fun. When it starts to be tough, they keep moving. Why? Because they want to sustain the power and grace of their ability. They're powerful, right? Now, the way it looks in the design, when you start to look at it, when we get to the conscious dashboard, which is a really fun place to be, hope you're going to love it. It's going to be very useful for you to, even if it's not dynamic, you can use it. Now it's going to be really cool when it's going to be dynamic and the answers are going to pop up to you, right? But you see, here's just the list. And then when you touch it, it'll open up. And you see, look, strength is the ability to move through negative, distracting forces. Hello, right? That's strength, right? In life, living life, right? A lot of times there's negative forces. Sometimes there's just a force that's over there that may be interesting to you. Maybe it's exciting, right? Well, if your strength gets directed and you go over there and you play with that, you didn't get done with what you were doing. And if what you needed to do was important to your health and happiness, well, you lack the strength to get done, right? Very, very practical to your daily life, right? Now, the ability to move faster or slower to adapt. Now, when you're a kid, when you're just getting started, if you're slow, you're not going to be effective. It doesn't mean you have to, be a world-class sprinter or, be supersonic fast with your thoughts. That's very rare for your success to depend on that. It's rare. And all you need to do is to be effective, right? Communicate effectively, move around. Maybe you have to jog, to get your kid before they, go out the front door and go play in the front yard. You want them to stay in the house, right? Or whatever. Maybe you do need to think quickly, and thoughts can move lightning fast because it's electricity, right? Especially when you're thinking with pictures, right? You're thinking 1,000 times faster when you think with your pictures, with your imagination, rather than words. You got to think with words sometimes, but better to use the fundamental words: aware, create, appreciate, positive, effective, thankful, move, effective, thankful, right? These words will help you to be more effective during your day, right? So then you see the ability to keep moving, to adapt, right? Knowledge, here it is, the knowledge to know the time and space, to understand, to adapt. The ability to move thought, emotion, and behavior to adapt, skill, right? Very important one. All of them are important. And then wisdom, the ability to choose effectively, to adapt at increasing levels. Very important, right? Now, this thing here, I'm not going to go into it until we get to the dashboard, but if you read it, if you pause the tape and read it, you'll see that it just starts at the bottom where you're terrible in pain, miserable, and you're okay with death. I've been there. I lost a bunch of money in my early 50s when I started this business, got distracted, wanted to go off and invest, and lost a ton of money. And I was in my early 50s and I felt like I'd lost it all. I was broke, lost, I put all my eggs in one basket. Hello. I was wise up. Not. So when you make mistakes like that and you're really in the bottom, death's okay. It hurts. I'm okay to step out, right? If you've been there, you know what I'm talking about. If you're not, I was never there in my youth. Never. I mean, a lot of people have, suicidal thoughts when they're a teenager. I didn't. I'd always figured I could figure out a way, and I may be sad, but I didn't think in my life. No. I did in my 50s, right? Early 50s. So then, and it just goes up, right? From being okay with death to just being miserable. I mean, you're not thinking about killing yourself. You're like, right? It just keeps getting better. Pretty soon, everything's neutral. Nothing's exciting, but hey, at least nothing's bad, right? Why don't we get in some good, right? And it keeps going. And then ultimately, when you're at the highest level you can possibly be at a specific moment, not just your whole life, but in that specific moment. Now, the other ones impact that specific moment, but in that single moment when you're doing something, if you're highly positive and highly skilled, and in that moment, because it's so wonderful, you're overflowing love and fulfillment, and it's just rocking you. Yeah, man, isn't this great? That's the highest it can be. Now you can, you can tweak that up and down. Well, this guy's a little better than this guy, maybe if you're competing in a game or something like that. But for your happiness, you want to get to where you practice, you have a thorough knowledge, strength, endurance, speed, wisdom, all this, so that when you're in this more and more of the moments of your life, you're experiencing real positive emotion, real positive fulfillment, because you are amazing relative to what's possible for you. All right. And that's what these designs will get. And you just see, when you think about, the ability to move around, I put this here just to let you know, these things apply to taking care of your life, yourself, your relationship with people, your financial reality, and the places that it all happens. Okay. And now from here, we add the cycles of ability. There's 3 of them, right? Cycles of time and space, cycles to acquire grace, you like how that rhymed, and then cycles of human ability. Okay. Now these are fundamental and they apply very effectively to life, any moment in time. If you want to figure out what's going on, right? You begin with this. Hey, there's time and space in my life, right? And things are moving around in cause and effect cycles, days and weeks, moon's going around the earth's going around the sun, that's way out there. That doesn't impact us much. It does, as long as it doesn't crash down here, right? But down here, it's people moving around, going to sleep, waking up, eating, working, coming home, eating, sleeping, all that cycle, those cycles, right? Well, and then the third one, which is very important, when you look at these cycles of your daily life, how does it affect you? That's a cycle. There's time and space out there. Stuff's moving around in it. How does it affect me? That's a complete cycle, right? The next one is you apply you. You go, there's time and space, and I'm thinking and moving in cause and effect cycles out in everything else, moving in cause and effect cycles. How does it affect me? Very effective completion of a cycle of thinking about your life, right? Very important. Fundamental. It'll work every time. Just start doing it. If you're able to perceive all of life, you see down here, acquiring grace, you'll see that your life is going to start getting better if it needs to get better, if you'd like for it to get better. It may not need to get better, but you may want it to get better. Maybe it does need to get better. If you got down as low as I did when I lost all that money, you need to get better. Like that. All right. So habitats. I put this up in time and space because time and space is outside of you, right? So the habitats outside of you, your home, your work or school, right? And then the places in the city that you interact with. Is there order and beauty there? Is it order so you can, not have to move crud in your house because you can't declutter it, right? Or your workspace, your desk is so full of stuff you can't do any work, right? Is it orderly, right? And next, is it beautiful, right? Desire, you want it to be pretty. Hey, we like pretty things. We all do, right? So why not make your stuff pretty as well as being organized, right? So when you think about your habitats of life, is there order and beauty? Is it effective for you? How effective comes up here, right? So we've moved order and beauty, has the middle two, the top one and the middle one here, and then how it affects me is in the middle, and then you appreciate at the end. So that's the finish of the cycle of looking at time and space as a human being. So appreciate how it affects me. I didn't put appreciate there, did I? Well, this is acquiring knowledge, okay? Now, cycles to acquire knowledge. This is very simple and pure and accurate and effective, I believe. So if you want to acquire accurate, relevant knowledge about life, you have to perceive the time and space and interpret the cause and effect cycles and then realize how it affects you. You see that? I hope you see it. It's very effective. If you're confused, if you're in pain, if anything's negative happening in your life, start applying these fundamental techniques and skills. And even if you don't start to practice, which would be crazy not to practice and pray and program yourself to be better, you'll know what's happening. The fear can go away. Well, then, you're going to want to practice if you're in pain. All right. So from acquiring accurate, relevant knowledge, right, the macro view, then we take another fundamental, right? You have to pay attention to time and space. You have to process the cause and effect cycles and what you're thinking and doing, right? And then you adapt. So this one doesn't have the appreciate on it, right? This is the cycle of acquiring grace, right? Acquiring grace. You pay attention, you process the cause and effect reality, and then you adapt, apply it to your nervous system, right? Now, I love truth. I was a truth searcher as a young man. I kept searching in my 50s when I wrote this patent that created all this content that I hope benefits you. So acquiring accurate, relevant truth. Now, truth to me is accurate, relevant knowledge, what's in your daily life. You see, I bring up God from time to time. I believe there's a God. It's just I'm no longer a Christian as I was when I was a young person. My mom says I was saved, so I'm always saved. Now, that's what my mom says. I love my mama, my family, love my family. All right, so to acquire accurate, relevant truth, you have to be curious. You have to be curious. If you want to find out about truth, it doesn't land on you. And do people come up and tell you the truth? I don't know. I don't know. If you listen to some of those news channels peddling truth, I don't know. That doesn't sound like the relevant truth that's going to make me happy. Maybe it's going to cause me to think the way they want me to think. I don't know. So truth is precious to me. Truth is precious. And truth should help you be happy and healthy. That's what it's important about. That's what I love to help people, right? So curious about truth for being a human being and what your life's like and your family and friends, and what about them? Did they struggle? Did they do well? Have they been hurtful to you, your family, maybe your friends? You understand it. Are you able to accept it, forgive them, and move on? That's curiosity of truth. Sometimes we find out that it's ourselves that have been the bad one, but that's what we learned in our childhood. Right? We're the ones that are hurting people. As a young man, I was a bad father. I was abusive to my wife and my son. Not physically, but verbal abuse is almost just as bad, I tell you. And that's why I'm so motivated to help people, to have people avoid the problems that I had. See, if you start practicing this stuff as a young person, under 10, definitely in your teens, right? Heck, I think you should be practicing it too. Right? When your mama should be teaching it to you when you're a baby, right? When you're learning how to talk with these words. It'll cause you to be effective scientifically and develop high performance because you'll be paying attention and adapting, right? So when you have your curiosity that's searching for truth, then is the movement of your curiosity, is it effective? Are you able to process the cycles, the real cycles that impact your health and happiness, right? And then appreciate you did it. Right? We bring back in appreciation. I tried to put appreciation at the bottom, but sometimes it didn't fit, right? But these cycles, they happen, they're useful. They will cause you to be effective if you use them. Just look at it and think, and then memorize them, practice them, okay? My suggestion, hope you do it with Improve Our World. So now, this is grace. Grace is important. Power alone won't make you happy. There's a lot of super strong people out there that are miserable, right? So you want grace. But now when we combine the two, strength, speed, and endurance come into play, we have abilities to create. Abilities to create. We have aware of time and space, right? And what's possible in time and space. And then we choose to create what we want, right? We choose to create. We're aware of what's there, what's possible for us, and we choose to create what we want. And then we appreciate that we did it. We appreciate the fact that we were aware and we chose to act. We can have an early appraisal for a second and a half, right? Then we get back to being aware and adapting and creating, right? And then we appreciate along the way, right? It's the macro view of human ability, right? The next one is fundamental. It's similar. You can interchange these sometimes, but some are more applicable at different moments of interpreting your life and planning your life and acting, right? So at any point in time, for a relationship with somebody, for interacting in the economy, you move, right? Which might mean to be still sometimes, right? Movement implies still or movement, right? 3 laws of motion, right? So you move, and the movement nurtures by completing a task to fulfill a need or a desire. Fundamental, right? And then you rest, right? So and that cycle happens, right? You move effectively to nurture, to complete a task, and then you rest a moment, look around, and then you look around. You're aware of the next thing that you want. You move effectively to nurture. Now, remember, if you're talking about biology, nurture becomes nutrition. It's just food. It's not nurture. It's not moving to be nurture. That's movement to strengthen your body. To nutrition your body, to nurture the cells of your body, you need enough whole foods and not too many processed foods. Simple, simple. And remember, whole foods are delicious. They're healthy, and they're just as delicious as they're healthy. Yes, processed foods can be a little richer, hands down. And sometimes when I'm having a tough day, I'm going to have me a burger and fries. You know what I mean? I'm going to have me some processed foods. But to live the best life possible, it's logical. You have to eat more whole foods, and they're good too. So it's not like you're being miserable because you're eating healthy, right? And that's something you can get for those nutrition programs and cookbooks and stuff. But there's a bunch of good stuff out there already. But I'm going to sell some of that too. I want to sell some stuff, make enough money to hire more people to create this wonderful service to help you and your family and friends get better, right? So then the core habit, right? So we got the core ability. We got the macro view, aware, create, appreciate. Fundamental is move around, to nurture a need or a desire, and then rest. And then we have the one that applies to any moment in time. Okay, I want to move positively in a way of functioning, right? I move in a positive direction. My thoughts do. My thoughts are effective, right? So movement is positive. Nurture is effective. Rest becomes appreciation. And you can flip these. You could go positive, effective, rest if you wanted to, but because you do positive, effective over and over again in a task. You may cycle through positive, effective, 14 times in an hour, in a 15-minute period or 5-minute period, just depends on what kind of activity you're involved with. You're moving effectively. You're moving effectively. You're moving effectively. Maybe you're slowing down, moving, and then you're being effective, right? And then somewhere along the way, appreciate it, right? Enjoy the process. And remember something very important psychologically, very important. The more difficult the task you engage in on a regular basis, you'll experience something called intrinsic pleasure. Very powerful, very important. It's fundamental for you to enjoy good happiness. I mean, you can have like a little bit of happiness, no, but if you're not feeling good about who you are relative to who you can be, right? You feel like, hey, I did the best I could be and I did good, and somebody else might be better, but who cares? I did great and I love myself and I'm amazing, right? That's the kind of thought you have because there's so many amazing people in the world. Sometimes we get caught up with comparing ourselves with others. It's what we do, right? We want to know who's the greatest, football player, baseball player, businessman, television star, all these things we do, right? Well, those things are fun, but when you're interacting with people, it's not good to compare and say one's better than the other. That's not healthy. What you want to do is accept yourself, accept your family and friends, love them, encourage them, and keep positive and don't compare them with somebody else that's better. Not logical, right? Unless you're trying to teach them and they're strong enough to take the teaching, right? Logical, simple stuff, right? So here are your cycles of ability. And these cycles can become the basis for effective self-talk by stopping the mindless chatter, the mindless talking, explaining, which is moving at 1,000th of the pace that you're capable of moving at. Why be so slow, right? Why be ineffective? So what you do is you monitor, you program yourself to stop talking all day long. You just talk part of all day long. You're still going to have self-talk, right? But what you want to do is develop the habit of doing it less and doing it at an effective time where there's a moment where it's okay to sit there and have a conversation with yourself, right? But when you can develop the habit of using pictures instead, you're going to become incredibly more effective and you're going to become more influential. You're going to become more charismatic. You're probably going to take better care of yourself. You'll look a little better. Everything will get better, right? By thinking with pictures, 1,000 times more effective. So here are your cycles of ability. A couple of quick things here, right? Homeostasis cycle to power up at any time during your day, any time in the day. You just do this, right? You're standing there, you're sitting there, and all of a sudden you think the word balance. And what you're doing is you're thinking of your body, your head over your shoulders pulled back slightly and relax down. Slightly lift your chest, elongate your tummy, slightly lift in your tummy is a good thing too, right? And you balance your hips, you find a little balance of your hips. And if you're standing, your hips are over your knees or over your ankles. Ideally your feet are pointing forward, your knees are pointing forward right over your feet, right? Your hips are nice, and that's an aligned body. That's balanced and then aligned, and then you relax. You see, I humbly say to you, if you think about this logically, if you want to have a pain-free body, if you want to have a healthy body that's got a lot of energy and you can do a bunch of fun things, even if you're old like me, right? Well, you want to balance and align it and relax it, and then exercise it so that it gets strong. But when you're not exercising, you want your body to be relaxed, balanced, and aligned. So that is the homeostasis. Homeostasis is a really cool word. If you've never heard it before, it just means taking care of some living part of your life, All right, homeostasis, very important. You want to homeostasis your body a lot so that it's balanced, aligned, and strong. All right. Now, when you change your life, when you change anything in your life, fundamentally, you're going to want to identify what you want, right? And you're going to want to create a desire for it. And if your desire is weak, the distractions of your daily life, you may not get around to doing what you need to do. You just may not, right? Because you got distracted. Some other desire came up, or some person came in, or something that you enjoy, or a television program on, or something. And there's something that you want in your life, but your desire is not strong enough. So what you do is you program and practice in the desire for the positive thing that you want, balancing need with desire, right? Cherry picking desire to create better balance and alignment, right? The homeostasis internally with your thoughts and habits and perceptions of your daily life, right? You create the desire of what you want. Then this is amazing. If you've never done this yet, it's an amazing experience. I learned this from Jose Silva. The Silva method is an amazing resource out there. If if you're not pleased with my teaching skills here and maybe don't like it, I hope you find pleasure and benefit in it. But if you don't, if you have challenges in your life, the Silva method is an amazing resource. A lot of great resources out, a bunch of great teachers. Tony Robbins is out there. He's amazing. There's a bunch of them. I wish I could think of this other guy that I listen to a bunch. There's so many wonderful teachers out there. I'm just joining the crew, but I'm bringing an invention, a technology that's different. And it's these 7 elements. And this is what you're learning about it right here. The lessons part to understand life, right? So this process is amazing. Okay. So when you want something, and if there's pain in your life and you're not getting it, as soon as you declare you want it, what you're going to feel if you direct your senses inside your body, inside your torso, you'll feel a move of energy inside your body, and it's going right by an organ called your solar plexus, which is right next to your tummy. Okay, next below your heart and lungs. All right. So this solar plex causes you to feel the positive emotion of you wanting something that is going to help you get rid of something negative. Right? But then get ready. When you tell yourself, and I believe I can do this, and if there's pain there, something negative in your life, and all of a sudden, hang on. Okay, I'm back. So something negative in your life, and all of a sudden you believe you can have it, the energy increases. And then get ready. Get ready for a warp drive. Because if there's pain in your life, and you declare something that you want that will get rid of the pain. And then so there's, there's some really real strong desire every time you think about it, right? And all of a sudden you believe you can, and then you expect it to be, wow. You'll feel a strong movement of energy past your solar plexus, right next to your tummy, inside your torso. This is a positive thing. It's a natural thing that happens whether you do it or not. If you have something really fun happen and wonderful, if you're around somebody you love and real positive, and there's a positive experience, energy is going to move past your solar plexus inside your torso. So why not practice it and program your body to do that more? Why not program yourself to think about yourself and the people in your life and yourself with the economy? And also, forgive the negative parts of our economy. There's negative people in the world that are hurting people. Forgive them. Move on. Don't get distracted. Just take care of yourself and go make a wonderful contribution. Take care of your family. That's the best thing to do. Instead of getting distracted with how some people in the world are negative. Of course, maybe you take on that maybe you take that on as your passion to help those people, or maybe try to stop them. Great. Not mine. I'm just going to try to help people be happy, right? So these things that about the areas of your life, the emotion generator. Last thing about emotion generator. This emotion generator, when you create that emotion, when you cycle through this process of thinking about something that you want in your life over and over again, the desire will become a driving force. It'll become motivation to get you to move into action. And then what you do is when you practice this, 10, 15 minutes a day, 20, 30 minutes a day, and you're thinking about things that you want and you're associating, appreciation and positive, you're feeling the positive things, you're putting that stuff into you, it's going to become a force inside of you. And it's going to become part of your self-talk because you thought about it over and over and over and over again, with slight variations for 10, 15 minutes in the morning. In the afternoon, you're going to be thinking about it, which is a good thing because you're thinking about what you want instead of the negative things that you don't like or the neutral things. Hey, if you watched a great movie last night and yet you're out in your workplace and you have something important happening, it's better not to think about the movie you watched last night, wasn't it? It's better to be clear of mind, being aware of where you are and the outcome that you want, and then engage pictures and of course communicate effectively with words if part of your task of what you're wanting to create involves communication with other people. But when you're clear of mind, aware of what you want, and creating clear of mind with pictures 1,000 times faster with words from time to time, right? Your life's going to get better. Okay, so this is the cycles of ability, or the power and grace of ability. Hope you liked it. Hope you found value in it. And please subscribe to my YouTube channel and go subscribe to ahitforme.com. Make a subscription, make a payment. As soon as I get enough revenue, enough happy customers, hopefully I'll bless your life and people that you love and bring them to this business. I believe it'll help them too to understand and start changing their habits, creating strength of mind to focus through distractions and create abilities that get better and better, right? When I have enough customers, I'll be hiring those talented people to make that amazing high performance library that's going to help people that really need, more attention than just these videos. The high performance library is going to do it for them, and it's going to be a wonderful blessing for them and a blessing for me because I love to help people. It's what I love to do. If I end up becoming very, very wealthy from this business, and I hope I do, I ain't retiring. Now, this is fun for me. I'd do this on a Saturday morning. When I wake up, the funnest thing I can do is work on this stuff. I love it. I love it. I love it. I love it. So I hope I bless your life. I hope you're having a wonderful day. Please subscribe. And the next video is a good one. Go check it out, please.